Celebrity Court of Public Opinion.
And I'm Al Reynolds, your host and judge.
Each show, there are 4 celebrity cases, 3 real attorneys, 1 verdict, guilty or not guilty. This is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion.
All right, A-listers, happy Thursday. It is May 7th, 2026, and tonight, I'm not asking what the law says. I'm asking what people already believe. Because let's be honest, this is 2026, and public opinion, we ain't got to wait for a verdict because I've created a court for that, and it's called Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. And in here, we convict on vibes. Tonight, we have Marcellus Wiley, who now has multiple women accusing him of sexual assault, and he's calling it what? All a lie. Poor Kodak Black, welcome back to Celebrity Court, is facing a trafficking charge in a car. His lawyer says he wasn't even in it. Oh, really, lawyer? Shiloh Sanders is heading into court trying to block parts of his past, and that tells me the story gets uglier the deeper you go in. And last but not least, Iggy Azalea is being sued over a memcorn because apparently it's a joke stops when funny. If the joke stops being funny when money gets funnier and disappearing. Now, let's be clear. This is not going to be a safe space tonight. This is no longer about being politically correct, and this is definitely not the time to hold back how you really feel. This is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, where I bring the pressure, my attorneys will bring the law, and the jury, well, guess what? That's you, and you are my A-listers. I want you to bring the truth. All right, and tonight, we're not playing nice. We are getting right down to the core of it all. But before we get started into this legal chaos, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. And as always, I need you to jump down in the comments right now. And if you're watching live, I need to hear from you. Tell me where you're watching from. And more importantly, let's see who it is. Let's see who's with me tonight, because you know I'm super nosy. All right, here we go with the roll call. I'm gonna look over here, guys. I'm splitting screen and stuff. First up, we have Linnell Seiler, 1872. Welcome back. Lakita, 75. Come through. Colette Davis, our real estate broker in Virginia. Come through. Oh, we got a super chat, lawyers. We got a super chat by Double Spicy Too Hot XX. All right, Sandra McGee, thank you so much. We enjoy it when you throw us a good old super chat. It means the world to us, and I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Sandra McGee, hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Brian and Simone Adams. I feel like when I do my vacation with my A-listers, I want to see you guys there. JP Mills, come on in. Come on, Brenda K. Come on in, Brenda K. Nisha Phillips. Always good to see that name. Techie Tara 84. All right, Techie Tara, come on in here. Easter C, get in here. Editor Essie Stone, come on in. SL Warrior, come on in. Who else do we have? Leandria, good to see you. David 62 151, come on in. Leandria, come on in. Everybody, come on in. Miss Real, come on in. You Danielle Cameron, all right. And Wanije, come on in. Dominic Starr, I was wondering where you've been hiding. TNOHPAL. How you say that? Let me know. Put the phonics in there. Come on in. And Dominique Nookie. We love some good Nookie. All right, everybody. And of course, I'm not doing this alone in this courtroom. Tonight, I've got 3 attorneys who are about to learn very quickly. This is not a normal legal show anymore, because tonight, I don't want just the law. I want honesty, I want perspective, and I want all of them to have a little bit of courage and tell us the truth. Welcome to Celebrity Court, Attorney Ross, Attorney Turner, and Attorney Weiss. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Hello.
Can you believe it, A-listers? Can you believe it, A-listers? Attorney Ross has made it back to Celebrity Court. All right, attorneys. Tonight, I'm going to push you because the audience is not here for textbook answers anymore. Not tonight. They're here for the truth. And make sure you follow the show right now at Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. That is our IG page at Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. That's where the jury keeps talking after we log off, because court may adjourn. But guess what? Our public opinion never does. All right. As you know, tonight is about power. Unfortunately, in this court, it's about perception and what happens when the story gets bigger than the facts. Court is now in session. Now, quick legal note, allegations are not convictions, and everyone discussed is presumed innocent in a court of law. But here, we don't give a damn. We examine behavior. We love optics. And whether the public has already made up its mind is what we help decide. Are we ready, A-listers? Let's get it. First up, we are talking about Marcellus Wiley. Now, let's be clear. Marcellus Wiley built an impressive NFL career playing 10 seasons, recording over 50 career sacks, including a Pro Bowl selection in 2001. Beyond sports and broadcasting, Wiley has also been recognized for his motivational speaking and community engagement, using his platform many times to inspire, discipline, educate, and help people with personal growth. Well, guess what? We now have met Mr. Wiley, who has multiple women, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but 7, accusing him of sexual assault. And he is what? Denying everything. He's denying it publicly and loudly. Bailiff, take it away.
I'm not worried about any of these allegations on the level of there's no criminal charges. All this talk, and nobody ever wanted me arrested. Nobody ever got me arrested. Nobody ever got me. But so you don't want that. It's about money. I get it. But to you, it's about money. To me, it's about my son's name that he will one day Google and think that this is about him. But he's going to know it's about his dad. And how dare you stain the brain of my child and his hero.
He talks about staying the brain of his child, who's his hero. Well, 7 women's family don't think he's such a big hero. Let's go to our attorney legal beagles here and see what's really going on. All right, let's go to you first, Attorney Weiss, with multiple accusers coming forward. What does that actually do to a case like this?
So what it's actually going to do is, first of all, it's going to draw more attention to it. Second, in the public opinion and the public eye, the more people that come forward, the guiltier he looks. 1 comes out, could be a shakedown. 2 comes out, still a shakedown. Maybe someone's riding the coattails. This is now 7. And it's not good. And his comment about, nobody's brought criminal charges and it's all about the money. Yeah, because if they were to bring criminal charges, he would go to jail and they would not be compensated for what he allegedly did. So yes, they are going to go the civil route. And the civil route is easier to prove than the criminal route. And Attorney Ross will be able to talk to you about that more because, that's the world he lives in. The civil's easier than criminal. So that's one of the reasons behind it.
All right, let's go to you, Attorney Turner, because you're the female attorney on the panel here, and I need some answers. Now, I want you to answer it 2 ways. First, I want you to answer this as a lawyer. Then, I want you to answer this as a woman. Now, when you hear multiple women come forward like this, what does your instinct say as a lawyer, and what does your instinct say as a woman? And be honest, because those 2 are not always the same answers.
And they shouldn't be.
I'm one person, so I bring my whole self to the conversation, the lawyer woman. But I get your point. 1 would be analytical and 1 would be based on feelings. So from a legal perspective, the trend suggests that where there's smoke, there's fire. And so if I were investigating this, I'd want to talk with each of these women to see whether there's similarities. Now, there's some salacious facts that go along with this, and it kind of begs the question, which is why he's saying, hey, why didn't anybody come after me criminally? But he's also asking, inherent in that question is, why didn't people come sooner? None of these cases are new. Some of these cases involve him being in college. Others involve him being a rookie. I think the most recent one may have been like in 2009 or something, involving a former production assistant for ESPN. So there's this evidentiary issue which is also probably influencing why they didn't go to criminal route, even though the statute of limitations likely hasn't told. It's hard to, get the standard beyond a reasonable doubt when the cases are this old, because who can prove that? But you might be able to meet the preponderance of the evidence standard, and Attorney Ross can articulate the difference. As a woman, I get why it may have taken a while, because he was a powerful person, even in college, right? You went to a big school. Football players were akin to deity. So it's not like just because he wasn't in administration that it would have been easy to come forward making these allegations. The other thing is that the Me Too movement liberated people. Like, let's not forget this in the historical context. Before Me Too, a lot of people were like, oh, don't say anything, suck it up. After Me Too, people are like, come forward, girl. It's not too late. Tell your truth. And so that's where we are. People are telling what they believe to be their truth, and he has to answer for it.
All right, before I throw to you, Attorney Ross, let me get to some of these comments. Danielle Cameron said, wasn't his wife on one of these reality shows and had to quit because of the rumblings of these accusations? I'm asking for us aunties in the chat. I'm not sure, Danielle. SL Warrior said, well, Chaos God said, Wiley better not get Tasha K's lawyer. You're right, because she lost against Cardi B. Okay. Nisha Phillips says, I just don't like letting them stay free for some money. I just don't like letting them stay free for some money when they just go do stuff to other kids. And women, I believe they should go to jail instead of just going to their wallets. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So
all right,
put them in jail instead of.
Right. Yeah. Doreen Pierce says, good to see you, Attorney Ross. Attorney Ross, counselor, give me the defense side. And please don't give me a lecture. Give me the argument that you would actually use to try to win this case for Mr. Wiley.
The first thing I want to say to you, Your Honor, is I'm so glad that Ms. Turner, my esteemed colleague, didn't show up on behalf of the National Women's Labor Union like she usually does. Okay? She took a very pointed, neutral, legal objective, and I appreciate it because everyone knows that she's all about girl power. Okay?
Yeah. For you,
all about girl power on this show. She stayed clean today, and I'm shocked. Okay? My argument before the court is, why are we talking about this today? Everyone here is sensitive to the allegations. No one would not want to see the truth come out. However, Marcellus Wiley, aka that dude, was a superstar at Columbia, a superstar in the NFL, a superstar on ESPN, until he started talking about head trauma, then he got his job kicked off. And so now, all of a sudden, people want to come out of woodworks 15, 20 years later and say there was an assault. It might be true. I'm not denying it. What I am talking about is the timing of the comment, the timing of the statement. That if these things were that important, and they are important, why wouldn't we have said them a long time ago? Why are we saying them now? What's changed in your life? Did you not get into medical school? Did you think you were going to be married to a Dallas Cowboy and fly out and hang out with Jerry Jones on the yacht? None of that worked out. So now, as we sit here and look at life, you go, maybe it's time for me to say something. Well, the timing is exactly what we're going to talk about. We're going to get deep into it. And until we can figure that out, my client's innocent until proven guilty.
Okay, I like that. So let me ask you this, though. In the court of public opinion, though, let's go to our A-listers. They hear allegations. They hear pattern. They hear multiple women. They hear, wow, I didn't know this. Doesn't this kind of mess with his credibility regardless? Or does it not matter because it's civil?
Well, in the court of public opinion, Your Honor, there's always going to be this negative stain because someone can say anything. We don't live in a society where people are trying to give you an opportunity to prove who you are. Everyone's guilty. Everyone did it. Everyone's dead. All right. But when the truth comes out, as we saw last week on your show with Stephon Diggs, right? He was accused of something, went to trial, and now it's over. So Marcellus, unfortunately, is going to shell out a lot of personal money. Hopefully, as insurance, which you've done a great job of teaching your alligators about. But he's going to fight off 7 people at once, which is expensive. Hopefully, he saves some money, right? Because you made a lot of it. Hopefully, you save some. But if he can pull this off, he'll be exonerated, and there's remedies he can do. Colette Davis, let me tell you something. Okay, I saw your little ratchet message you put up. Is you okay?
Okay, I mean,
I was glad that Attorney Ross was here, but now he is on my nerves, and so I have to just express myself, right? Because Attorney Ross has indicated a few things that only these people came forward because somehow they didn't get the easy street that they thought life was going to offer them. And so now the way they're going to try to, get their money is to make all these presumably baseless allegations. OnlyFans exists. There are easier ways to get paid. I think that this guy's problem is that, up here in this region, we have Marcellus Shale, where you have to dig through to get to the gas for the energy. He does not have a shale type defense here. He's got a real problem. There is one of these people is saying that he started grooming her when she was 13 years old. So in the court of public opinion, I think he's got a problem if he wants to continue to make a career in media. He's going to have to not only pay some money potentially, but he's going to have to answer some really hard questions, because she says that he went to her middle school when he played for the Buffalo Bills, befriended her family, gave them Bills tickets, and then SA'd her on her 18th birthday. This is not someone saying someone grabbed their ass when they were walking down the hallway.
Okay, the first thing, Your Honor, if I may respond to that, let me give it a brief moment. Ms. Turner, I think it's a little ironic that you're talking about grabbing asses. We're going to leave that alone until later after the show. But right now, what we're talking about is the fact that let's suppose she was 13, which would be horrific. Okay, I'm going to concede that would be deplorable, and you should, and if that is true, right, if that is true, which we don't know if it is, you deserve a place next to Diddy. Okay, I'll say it. However, where were the parents at? You 13 years old. Where was your mom? Where was your dad? Where was grandma, grandpa? Where were the school teachers? Where was the principal? Where was the security guard, the crossing guard? Anybody, Marcellus Wiley pulling up to a middle school in a Rolls Royce should have raised alarms. It never came out. We're not that far removed from social media, Miss Turner.
You're right.
She was a famous person.
She didn't say that he touched her when she was in middle school. She said she met him in middle school and he groomed her. And then on her 18th birthday, he SA'd her.
The last I checked, grooming means touch. You groom yourself, you cut your hair. You groom yourself, you wash your face. I need to groom myself before we go to dinner on South Beach. Grooming don't mean sending emails. Hello.
Beach?
Wait a minute, hold on. This is my question. Hold on, this is my question. This is a serious question too. What's interesting to me, and I want to get to one of the comments from one of our A-listers. Danielle Cameron said, I only became vocal about my molestation because I was triggered seeing my abuser dating a woman with daughters, which made me realize my silence was dangerous for other children. So I want to be clear. Someone needs to help me understand this part about this Wiley case. All right, there are now 7 women that have come forward. Why are they just now coming forward, the 7?
It's the ultimate question.
Well, one woman came out, and then other women are reading about it, and they're probably saying, you know what? This happened to me. It's time for me to tell my story. Someone, like you ask for a volunteer in your classroom, first person volunteers, then all of a sudden everybody's his hand goes up. There's a safety in numbers when that's what it is. And maybe people pushed this down and repressed it, and they didn't want to, talk about it, and they were embarrassed and they were shamed, and now all of a sudden these other women are coming out and they're saying, look, this is what happened to me. And it's like, you know what, me too. now I have the courage to say something. I mean, it's a traumatic event.
Right.
It's not uncommon. We saw that with Diddy as well.
Right.
That once, the case became public, people started coming out of the woodwork.
So why didn't they come out? I guess I don't mean, let me rephrase it because I don't want people to read this the wrong way. I'm not saying right now. I'm saying when they saw the Diddy stuff, when they saw all these other allegations of people in hip hop and pop culture were coming forward, when they reopened the ability to file these types of claims, that was only a year or so ago. Why didn't some of them come forward then? Where they were waiting for someone to accuse him first and then follow?
I don't think it's, and I'm not suggesting you're doing this, but I want us to be careful that we don't impute an improper motive to them because of their timing, right?
Okay.
Their truth is their truth. And so they came forward when they did. And the reason we have a legal system is so there can be a determination about whether or not this goes forward.
All right. Sounds good to me. All right. Really quickly, lawyers, this is for the lawyers. Really quickly, lawyers, given what you've heard, given what you know, how bad of a case is this? Is Mr. Wiley, is he up the creek with no paddle? What's going on?
Can I respond, Judge?
Sure.
The one problem that Mr. Wiley is facing is that in law, there's a theory called modus operandi, right? And in modus operandi, which is Latin for a pattern of behavior, if the lawyer who's in charge of all 7 of them, the lead counsel, can show some sort of modus operandi, he might have a problem there, right? He might have a problem there. But again, I think there's been a lot of time that occurred between then and now, and that they're going to have to figure it out. You can't just, everyone wants to be sensitive to that. But the truth is, he's entitled to a defense. And they have to address that issue. And he's entitled to depose them. He's entitled to get into their character, right? Y'all like law? Here you go. Reputation matters, right? Opinions matter, right? Character matters. All that comes in. We know nothing about these people. Maybe they're choir girls, right? But maybe they're not. So we're allowed to talk to ex-boyfriends. We're allowed to talk to ex-husbands. We're allowed to talk to bartenders. All that can come into play when you're accusing something of a crime of seduction. And that's what he's dealing with right now. So there's a lot that goes on to it. It's going to be expensive for him, though.
And he just hit the nail on the head. It's going to be very expensive, win, lose, or draw. Period.
All right. From allegations and denial to a case where the question is simple. If you weren't there, how are you still charged? Oh, my goodness. Yep, we're talking about Kodak Black. Kodak Black, welcome back to Celebrity Court. Now, we all know that Kodak Black rose from challenging circumstances to become a major voice in hip-hop, earning multiple platinum hits and building a loyal fan base with his raw and authentic storytelling. Now, this is the problem. Tonight, he's in Celebrity Court for trafficking MDMA. Now, this is the problem with him. He's had numerous legal incidents since his teenage years, including arrests and charges at both the state and federal level. And let's not mention that a lot of these are due to weapons, drugs, and probation violations. All right, but guess what the lawyers say? He wasn't in the car is what the lawyer's trying to say. However, there's evidence on Instagram which shows or may prove the opposite. He had a coat on Instagram. He had the coat over the seat of the car. We're going to break this down tonight. To me, that's the kind of headline that makes people see, wait 1 minute. That story's not adding up. All right, let's go to you, Jason. If he wasn't in the car, then what's the legal theory that puts him in this case anyway?
Well, first of all, he wasn't in the car when this happened, but there were signs showing that he was in the car. And everything I'm going to say, I'm just letting the A-listers know that Brian Ross is going to poke holes in it, and that's what he does, and I expect that. So look, they found fingerprints on certain things that belong to him. They found some evidence that ties into him. So there was enough probable cause for them to want to bring Kodak Black in, arrest him. He had to hire an attorney, and he was released, I think, on $75,000 bond. And those are his attorneys right there, Mr. Bradford Cohen. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, Shaitan, help me out here. Okay, so we're leaning heavily on some type of association of trafficking based off of fingerprint evidence. All right. So how strong is fingerprint evidence when he wasn't in the car when the actual police showed up?
Well, there's a variety type of evidence. Some of it's circumstantial, and circumstantial evidence isn't the strongest necessarily, but it's still valid. And so the fingerprints in the car beg the question, how did they get there? Right? So they weren't there when they found the car, but it does put him at the car, which is the scene of the crime. And so he's got some explaining to do.
All right, Attorney Ross, you're the criminal defense attorney here. Whether we like it or not, people are definitely allowed to have the law work for them. What would be your defense in this case?
This goes out to Jason Weiss.
Yep.
Fingerprint this and fingerprint that. You can't get me because you ain't got no facts. You want to try and make my face be a case? Guess what? I wasn't nowhere near that place. He wasn't in the car. A fingerprint is inadmissible. I might have been in the car 3 weeks ago. I wasn't in the car today. It's not my fault he don't take his car to Sparkling Image on Los Olas Boulevard and get it cleaned up with the rest of the stars. I was there 3 weeks ago, went to dinner with him, and that was it. I touched the door handle. You don't have a key. I never admitted I was doing MDMA. You don't know what I'm doing in that picture. And guess what? The Instagram is inadmissible because it can be misleading in nature. It can be confusing in nature. Therefore, it's out. Now, problem with Kodak Black is he's got a history, right? He's got a history. So they got this MDMA ecstasy, and under Florida statute 893.135, all they have to do is get you on knowingly possessing, selling, purchasing, manufacturing, delivering, or bringing into the state a controlled substance. That's a lot. That's a lot of leeway. How far they go depends on their attorneys. He's got a good lawyer, Bradford Cohen. Bradford Cohen was, so you guys know, was on The Apprentice with the current president, Donald Trump. He was the first person fired, but he has a little name in South Florida. So we'll see what he does. The reality is he's not going to do all the like X's and O's. He's a speaker. He'll hire a pit lawyer to do most of it. My instincts tell me that he's going to get off.
Okay, so let's go there then. Is this really about trafficking? Is this a trafficking case? Or is this about, catching a famous person who has a crazy history of bad stuff and trying to jam him up? If he wasn't in the car, or do you guys think maybe this could be a setup of some sorts?
Well, his fingerprint, and I know Attorney Ross will shoot this down, but his fingerprint was found on a pill bottle. So it's not the car, it's not that. So he would have had Brian Ross's thing is, oh yeah, he touched that pill bottle 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago, whatever it was. But the pill bottle contained an illegal substance. So please explain that. And I think they're just trying to make the jump to, look, he's been arrested. He's done things in the past. He's served time. Looks like a duck, walks like a duck, smells like a duck, must be a duck.
All right, so let me ask you, attorneys, is Kodak Black, should he be worried about this? What do you say, Attorney Turner?
I need more facts. I'm not entirely sure. I was so distracted by the brilliance of Brian Ross with his rhyme that I can't even think straight. Like, it's like Johnny Cochran rose from the dead and came on Celebrity Court of Opinion.
More personal attacks. It's fine.
All right, let's go in here and check out some of these comments. Chaos God says Kodak always on that Dwight powder. Ooh, okay. SL Warrior said Professor Weiss, especially when he's wearing them gloves. Generally said, Attorney Ross, I'll hire you if I ever get myself arrested. Great defense. Tori 1808110 said, oh my God, it's been a while. Finally caught it live. Welcome back. Vepa P said, all right, Attorney Ross, slick. Colette Davis says, that's a good one, Attorney Weiss. And Melina NC says, Trump will pardon him. Ain't no more laws. Oh, I know, that's really sad. And then let's see. That's it. All right, I get it. From fingerprints and confusion to a courtroom strategy that tells me one thing: somebody is trying to keep something out of the public opinion. All right, for the first time, we're going to welcome Shiloh Sanders. Shiloh Sanders, welcome to Celebrity Court. Now, we all know Shiloh Sanders is part of one of football's most high-profile families, and he's carved out his own identity through his time at Jackson State as well as Colorado, while continuing to grow as an athlete, and we definitely do support that. But off the field, Shiloh is now facing a serious bankruptcy case tied to a massive civil judgment from an incident that dates back to his younger years. Now, this is the issue. Back in high school, there was an incident where he was accused of assaulting a security guard at a school. Now, the incident led to a civil lawsuit, and guess what, y'all? The court ultimately awarded the plaintiff a judgment reported at $11 million. Now, this is the deal. When he got the judgment, Shiloh filed for bankruptcy. And his legal team right now with this is trying to block parts of his past for instance, it must gonna hit different. All right, let's go to you really quickly, Attorney Weiss. Attorney Turner, because I need some law terms explained to me. All right, so they said that in the motion they wanted to limit him as a L-I-M-I-N-E.
Lemonade.
What are motions?
Lemonade.
Lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Those are motions you make before the trial starts in order to try to restrict certain information from getting in.
So that's before the trial starts.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So that the jury will never hear it.
Okay, they would never hear it. And they want it before the trial ever starts. So there's things that they don't want ever brought up during trial.
You got it.
They found out about it during discovery because, like first you file the lawsuit and then you do discovery, you get information. And so you make the motions in limine. It's a standard part of trial process.
Okay, so in my ear and in my mind, if you're trying to block something that you found in discovery, then that means it's not going to be used to your benefit, right? I mean, that might
They think it's prejudice the jury. Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't have to be found in discovery. It could be found in what they're trying to do is just say that, they're trying to get his past missteps not being used against him. So they're saying, like he was arrested when he was a juvenile. They don't want that coming in. That has nothing to do with this case, but it does. So, the court will have to rule.
All right, so let me go to you, Attorney Ross, because I know you're going to break it down for me. Have you ever had a case where this lemonade thing, you wanted it out, and now that you're on the defense side, like, what does that mean? How does this shape the decision of the court, of the entire case?
I had a case one day. A guy was doing a DUI, and he was coming from a strip club in Miami called the Rolex. And it was really that long. And the police officer pulled him over for speeding, and they charged him with DUI. And he made a statement to the police officer. The statement, he blew under the legal limit for alcohol. So the police officer believed he was under the influence of drugs. The police officer asked him to submit to a urine examination. He declined. The police officer said, "Why don't you want to take a urine test?" And he said, "I smoke marijuana, and sometimes my friends sprinkle things in it." Okay. So we moved to exclude that he was coming from the Rolex, which was a strip club, and we moved to exclude in lemonade the statement of sprinkle things in it. Why? We don't want a jury to hear that he's coming from a strip club. We want it to be a bar because they may think that a strip club is a bad place, whereas a bar is acceptable. We didn't want him to hear the jury to hear that he sprinkles things in it because they may have thought it was an illegal substance called cocaine. The judge let everything in. We went on to get him not guilty, so it worked out. But you do move in lemonade to exclude things because it could hurt your case.
Got it. All right, Attorney Turner, let me go to you real quick because I want to know, in this particular case, why is it important, right? Why is it important that this judgment happened in high school Why is it so important that it needs to be brought into this bankruptcy case? I'm confused.
Oh, why did they file the motion in limine to begin with?
Yes.
Like, why is that bad? Because this is an old case, right, that they're dealing with. And so I imagine they're trying to show what he was like at that time that all this happened, that he was a bad kid who did bad things. And that's who he is. And what his counsel's trying to show is, let's focus on who he is today.
Okay, I'm still confused. What lawsuit, Jason, is he presently involved in that they are bringing up what happened years ago? Is what I'm trying to figure out here.
So here's what happened. Years ago, he was found guilty of assaulting a security officer. It was an $11 million judgment. Now he is filing bankruptcy to wipe out that judgment, to get it back to nothing.
Got it.
In the bankruptcy proceeding, he wants things that happened to him when he was a minor and before this and leading up to the judgment not to come in here because he's afraid it's going to influence the court and not discharge this $11 million judgment.
Got it. Well,
now,
Attorney Ross,
his dad doesn't care, right? His dad thinks we're good no matter what. I mean, we have a clip of dad saying something like, we're all going to be fine. Don't worry about
it. Bailiff, let's see what he got. Let's see what the dad's got.
Talk to you about, NFL is a tough business. Shiloh had, some bad. It's just have you talked to him and how are his spirits?
Oh, most definitely. He's my son. I'm proud of my kids, all of them, and I prepared my kids for any and everything that could possibly happen in life and in sports. That's part of fathering. That's part of parenting. That's part of having a relationship. So he is mentally where he needs to be, physically where he needs to be. We're praying that he gets another opportunity to go with a team. But if he doesn't, the plans have already been put forward to what he's going to do next. So Shiloh is a man of many talents. I don't know if you guys know, he's a man of many talents, and he's going to be straight. All the Sanders are going to be straight, with or without football. You better believe that.
Ross, let me go to you for a second because I'm a fan of the family. Hands down, he's done a great job with his boys. They are exceptional athletes. One we can argue is more exceptional than the other, but this sounds to me, in my little story, this sounds to me, Attorney Ross, that Shiloh has such a bright future that he's trying to file for bankruptcy to get out from this $11 million of owing somebody some money, right? That's what it sounds like to me, because he doesn't want to start making all this good money that's possibly coming his way and it be like first position and everything he makes has to go to pay that down. Am I reading this correctly?
I mean, in part, right? In part, he has a chance to make it. I don't think, from what I've seen, I am not an NFL scout. What I've seen that he's going to really be a prolific, high-paid NFL player. A lot of what he's getting is based on hard work and some of his family legacy, and that matters. I don't have a problem with it. We see it every day in corporate America. Good for you. But what I do think is that the backstory on that was you couldn't have a cell phone.
Then why is he filing bankruptcy? Why is he filing for bankruptcy? He's not in hardship. Why is he filing for bankruptcy?
Because he really doesn't have $11 million, right? He has a little bit of daddy money and he's got a little bit of NFL money. He wasn't a first round pick that signed a guaranteed $30 million bonus. He got okay money. $11 million will wipe out everything he has, assumingly, right? Maybe he has more. But if you look, the family was trying to negotiate with this man long before he went to trial. And all of a sudden, Dion turned the corner and said, I'm not getting involved with that. Maybe the man's demands were too high. I don't know what the backstory on it was. But you're chasing something that went from high school over a cell phone. And Dion doesn't want anything to do with it. So instead of answering the question, Dion said he's a great kid. He'll be all right. So he's filing bankruptcy to avoid going broke. But I don't think, he's going to be that prolific of an NFL player. He's not going to be Tom Brady. Okay. That's not going to happen.
All right. Well, still seems like to me he's talented in many ways that he's going to make a lot of money over the course of his next 20 years. I feel like he's have the ability to make a lot of money. It might not be in sports, but it could be in something else. It seems like he doesn't want this $11 million like judgment over his head. So the smart thing to me is, not even a legal strategist, is to say, let's bankrupt him. Let's clear that debt so that he can get on with his next 20 to 30 to 40 years of making money without owing the house. That's how I take it. Attorney Weiss, could that possibly be how we interpret this?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, all he's doing is he's saying, look, I can't afford the 11 million. I deserve the chance to get a clean slate and start from the beginning. And I don't want to have to spend the rest of my life, paying dribs and drabs of this. Give me the opportunity. That's what bankruptcy is there for. It's not a 4-letter word anymore. 50% of the population has filed bankruptcy or attempted bankruptcy at some point in time. And he's going to say, give me a clean slate. Now, the other thing is the Sanders family will always be fine. So if he ever got an inheritance or Pop sent him some money, they can go ahead and grab that. So that's the other thing. That money, family money, if it goes to him, they can grab it.
So if anything happens to Dion and he got a portion of it, and this bankruptcy idea does not happen, they can go after that money. Oh, okay.
Yep. He'll never see that money.
Yeah.
All right, really quickly.
Put money in trust, Jason, right? Like Dion's smart. He's not going to leave this to chance. So that's why the family's going to be all right, because he's already looked down the line and figured out what to do to protect his assets and protect his son. So he's Dion's press release, and I love Deion Sanders actually, but that was a lot of words that said, "Come at us, we're not scared."
Or come at us, we got a strategy. Not that we're not scared, because
the one thing the Sanders family had, good lawyers.
Good lawyers, that's correct. That's right.
They can afford them.
They can afford them. That makes a difference. All right, really quickly, attorneys, tell me, should Shiloh be nervous though? I mean, does this look like a good case against him, Attorney Ross?
It'll be fine. Look, the one thing you can discharge judgments in bankruptcy. Everyone knows that. You don't have to go to law school to figure that out. You can't discharge fraud. You can't discharge unjust enrichment. But if you get a judgment against you, the country is set up to get rid of those things, like Attorney Weiss said. So if he can discharge it, the guy may be one of the first creditors to line up to get a little piece of his check when he gets it, but it's not going to be $11 million.
Gotcha. All right, let's get to some of these comments. You guys are talking about, Sandra McGee says, you guys are talking about Shiloh Sanders. It's his brother Shiloh is the one filed for bankruptcy. Shiloh, yes, Shiloh is the one. All right, Chaos God says Al got that Claudia Wi-Fi. I don't know, it's happening. I have my iPad here. I have one laptop here. I have another laptop here and a phone right here. I think I got too many things in here on Wi-Fi. Generally say, Al, what's going with your internet service tonight? You okay? No, I'm not. I'm not okay.
He needs that super chat so we can get internet.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm juggling. I'm juggling the best.
I'm putting one big super chat. Bring in some more. He'll
Yep,
just
we need those super chats.
to upgrade my internet.
You gotta upgrade it. Come on, A-listers, let's go.
Artemis 2 Starlink internet.
All right, y'all, from courtroom strategy to a place where people lose money, and suddenly everybody wants accountability. But before we get to our last story of the night, can you please do me a favor? Can you help me pay for my internet? No, I'm kidding. Please hit that like button. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that share button and invite some folks along to learn the law off the backs of these crazy celebrities. Also, don't forget to turn on your notifications. We're going to send out new notifications. I think we learned how to send notifications to our A-listers right here. You have to hit subscribe, and then you have to hit all. You have to hit subscribe, and then you have to hit all. So when you go to YouTube, you have to hit subscribe, and then you have to hit all so that you get all the notifications of when the show is coming on. All right, our third topic of the night. Oh, don't forget to continue to jump down in those comments. All right, Iggy Azalea. I always mispronounce her name. All right, Iggy Azalea rose to global fame with her breakout hit Fancy, which topped charts worldwide and established her as a dominant force in pop rap. Now, she's built a successful career through charting singles, bold branding, and an ability to stay culturally relevant across music and social media. Now, this is a problem. Unlike some celebrities we cover, Iggy Azalea's legal issues have also been quite significant in her financial and business world. She's had tax liens, she's had debt disputes, and now she's got this MemCoin lawsuit, and that is what we call repeated criminal arrests and issues. Now, this is a class action lawsuit, so it's more than just one person. People say they were misled. Money's gone, and now everybody's pointing fingers. All right. So this is the deal. Let's go to you, Jason Weiss. When celebrities promote coins, what legal trouble are they actually stepping into if the coins don't do what they say the coin is going to do?
And that's where the problem lies here. She made representations that the coin were going to be great and this was a great investment and all of that. You know, that's a problem. People rely upon her name, her stardom, everything that she's doing to invest in it. If it just said, you know, hey, this is a coin that I'm looking at, or this is a coin that I want, you know, it would be less of a tie. But I'll tell you this, as a shout out to Sean Carter, who's out there earning a living tonight, you know, based on the photo that's up there right now, he'd say Izzy did nothing wrong and just let her be and start sending her more and more money. So, I mean, that's a shout out to Mr. Carter.
All right, Attorney Turner. What statements get people sued? Is it tweets that she made, or did she make any promises? Was it even, I mean, when did hyping up something that you were promoting become criminal or even civil?
Your Honor, this is not hyping up a party at Newcomb Hall and you have a sign outside and you're saying, come to the party. That's a place where we used to party in college, Attorney Weiss and Attorney Ross. This is her influencing the market. And this coin tanked. And so really the theory that this mother coin strategy was based off of was her likeness and her making representations to the public about its worth. And so that's how she got problems.
Ah, got it. And this was her. Okay. All right, really quickly, Attorney Ross, you're the criminal defense attorney. If you were her attorney, what would the argument be that she didn't do anything wrong?
Your Honor, my client was not informed by the coin about the potential risk of loss. She was not negligent because she wasn't sure about the security, and she wasn't reckless about the entire matter. The reality is she was the face of the coin. My client didn't go to the Wharton School of Business and learn about security technologies, et cetera, et cetera. She was just the face. They hired her to promote the brand. The real criminals, the thieves, are the people behind the scene. She was just a face on the package. That's it. That's all it was. And they are bringing her in because they think she has the deepest pockets. Unfortunately for them, my client's not Michael Jackson. She doesn't have that deep of a pocket. So the reality is that they got the wrong person. They need to drop my client, the kid. She wasn't negligent. She wasn't reckless. And she didn't provide misinformation. She simply provided the brand knowledge that was given to her prior to her taking a camera seat.
So, counselor, you're basically saying that these grown-ups are mad because they lost money and it's not really your client's fault.
It's not. You're going to invest your money based upon Iggy Azalea, who jumps around on stage. It's very pretty, by the way. and that's your goal, you did no research as to the value of the coin. You did no ideology as to the philosophy behind the finance. Nothing. It's only because of Iggy Azalea. Then you took a risk that you had to assume would lose. It's not a financial person.
Attorney Turner, where's that smile come from?
Well, because what I thought about when Attorney Ross was talking wasn't that she was blaming it on the grown-ups. I just got a vivid image of the New Jack City defense that Nino Brown said at the end of the movie. He was like, it's bigger than me. It's not me. It's Kareem, or whoever Christopher Williams' character was. That was really like what Attorney Ross was saying, is like, look, I'm just the face of it. I should not be held responsible. There are the masterminds behind me. They understand how all this works. I'm just a mouthpiece. Don't blame me. I'm just the messenger.
Judge, can I respond to one of your commenters, Judge? If you want me, if you don't want me to, I won't. I'll be quiet. But there's a person I want at SL-Warrior. Ignorance is not a defense. Okay, Warrior. All right. So my name is Steph Curry. I play basketball. I go out with Charles Barkley and do a commercial for Subway sandwiches, which I know you've seen. And all of a sudden, 100,000 people get sick because the meat that Subway shipped was bad, stale, poison. Am I now liable for the meat that I didn't sell? I'm the face on the package. That's all I am, Warrior. I'm the face on the package. It's not about ignorance. I don't make meat. Where it comes from. I come out here, do a song and dance, and get back in my trailer. That's it.
But wait a second. To follow up on that, it's I'm eating these Subway sandwiches. They are delicious. They are what's making me look stronger, jump higher, run faster, and have all this wonderful hair that comments have been saying. I mean, that's what it is. I've only been growing it for 5 months, but it's the Subway sandwiches that did it. And you should buy Subway sandwiches so you could have great hair like this too. Wow. Now I've gone ahead and I've endorsed it. I've done it, and people are relying upon me for those results. So it's not just the adult in the room. Now it's kind of like you're endorsing it. You've got something behind it, and it's my Subway store. That would be the other thing to go, because
wow.
So Colette Davis says that Iggy abused her influence.
Bingo.
That's exactly the theory. It's like spot on, Colette. And that's the point that Attorney Weiss was saying. She wasn't saying a preference like, ooh, these coins are cool. Right. She was making a statement about their value, to take the metaphor for the Subway sandwiches all the way through. Right. It would be the difference between Steph Curry saying these sandwiches are delicious as opposed to saying these sandwiches are nutritious, and then providing quote unquote evidence that support it, like having the silky locks that Attorney Weiss has. Right. That's the difference.
They are nice locks. They do look really good.
Hold on, order the court. Let me tell you something that's really interesting. Essie Stone says, damn, Brian is so good and smooth with that sexy voice. Let me tell you something. It's those characteristics that will win over a jury. You only have to get one or two people on the jury to feel like Essie Stone does about Attorney Ross and believe the crap that's coming out of his mouth, and the person walks free. I find that one of the things that I've learned the most about working and doing this show and creating this show is I've not only just learned about the law, but I've learned the real underbelly, the other side of the law, which is, it is as simple as this. Jurors like what they like. They hear what they hear. They charge who they charge, right? It's people are still humans at the end of the day, and sometimes the law has nothing to do with it. The law,
and it's not even just the jurors; it's the judges too. If the judge got a flat tire, if the judge got a flat tire on her way to court, and she's all angry and upset, and somebody asked something simple that on a happy day she would have given it, she's gonna be like, you know what? No, I was out in the rain. I had to wait on AAA for an hour. No. I'm not giving you more time. So you're correct. It's all about the delivery and what's going on. Brian Ross, he's a smooth operator. I give him credit.
No. I just had.
All right,
had to deal with
Attorney
something.
Turner, let me ask you this, Attorney Turner. Is Iggy Azalea, is she got some issue here? Should she take this serious? Is this serious, or is it, she might get off on this?
Oh, see, I thought you were going to ask me if I thought Attorney Ross was sexy too. But as it relates to Iggy does have some problems. She does, and she needs to be coached. Call me Iggy. You can introduce me to the handsome guys in your circle, and I'll give you some legal advice. Don't make those kind of definitive claims when making endorsements. Stick in the opinion things that people cannot measure, and you'll be okay. And in this case, I mean, the coin tanked. So her problem also is she's got a bunch of angry people who lost money.
All their money.
A lot of money.
Okay, jury, here we come. A-listers, all A-listers, get next to your keyboard. We're going to need you to put these people in prison, find them guilty or not guilty. All right, A-listers, this is the part of the show that we come to you for the verdict. Are they guilty or not guilty? A-listers, I need all A-listers to come to the chat, please. All A-listers come to the chat. First up, Marcellus Wiley. Not one, not two, not 3, 4, or 5, not 6, but 7 women have come forward. Is Marcellus Wiley guilty or not guilty? Drop down in the chat. Let me look over here in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Sandra McGee says guilty. Christine R says guilty. Nisha Phillips says guilty. Colette Davis says guilty. Sorry, Marcellus Wiley, you have been found guilty. Guilty in the celebrity court of public opinion. Next up, we have Kodak Black. Kodak Black says, how could it be? I wasn't even in the car. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, our A-listers, drop down in the chat. Kodak Black, is he guilty or not guilty? Let's see what these comments say. Is he guilty or not guilty? Generally, 197071 says guilty. Christine R says guilty. Editor says guilty. Nisha Phillips says not guilty. Lathea Robinson says guilty. Sorry, Kodak Black, you have been found guilty. Guilty here.
Come on.
Next up, Shiloh Sanders. Shiloh Sanders, is he running from $11 million that he owes that security guard? Is he running from that? Ladies and gentlemen, drop down into that chat. Is Shiloh Sanders guilty? Tori says guilty as hell. Shiloh Sanders, is he guilty? Tori 10810 says guilty. Chaos Scott says guilty, and Lathea Robinson says not guilty. Nisha Phillips says not guilty. Sorry, Shiloh Sanders, we have found you guilty. Guilty here in the court, celebrity court of public opinion. And last but not least, Iggy Azalea. It ain't her coin. She don't know nothing about no daggone cryptocurrency. Is he still guilty or not guilty for making people pay for them bum coins? Is she guilty or not guilty? Is she guilty or not guilty? Chaos God said not guilty. Colette Davis says guilty. Nisha Phillips says not guilty. Aubrey Davis says guilty. Editor says guilty. All right, Izzy, sorry, babe. You have been found guilty. Guilty in the court. Celebrity court of public opinion. All right, you saw it here. I guess everybody's guilty. We're not convinced otherwise. We heard the information. We heard the case. We feel like everybody's guilty in celebrity court. But let me ask you this really quickly. Attorney Ross, which case was the messiest?
Without a doubt, Kodak Black. Kodak Black.
That's the messiest?
That's messy.
All
He's
right.
all over the place.
He's all over the place. Attorney Turner, which case made you the most uncomfortable?
The first one made me uncomfortable. 7 women accusing somebody of SA. I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire, allegedly.
Okay. And last but not least, Attorney Weiss, which case is going to blow up online tomorrow, especially since maybe a Sanders was involved? Which case you think is going to blow up online tomorrow?
Oh, I think it's going to be the Iggy Azalea one because, she's got probably the most followers of everybody out of all 4 cases.
All right, you heard it here first. All right, everybody, tonight proves something very, very simple. You don't have to be convicted in court to be convicted in celebrity court. You don't need evidence to lose public trust. And sometimes the loudest verdicts comes from people who will never sit in a jury box. It's people that sit behind a URL. All right, I'm Judge Al Reynolds. This is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. And as always, don't forget to follow me. Follow us on Celebrity Court of Public Opinion at Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. I'm trying to get to 200 before next week. Be sure to get some friends to follow us. We're going to put some updates there. Let's go back to the notifications. The notifications on YouTube. Go to subscribe. Go to the drop down. Choose all. And make sure you are prepared to get all of our notifications. And I'll see you next time when the facts come in, but the opinions are already formed. This is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. And court is now adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Recuse himself. The judge should recuse himself.
Oh my